But first, please let me skip Noi and Steve. I swear, I wish they would just edit them out and get to the end already. Get their decision day over because they are simply so boring. Clearly, Noi is more in need of perspective in terms of the new day that we are in, where people work remotely, people work by contract. People don't necessarily have to leave the house every day in order to get to a 9 to 5. We are in different times, and I don't think because of all that she's been through as a child, she can wrap her mind around people make money from anywhere. And sometimes they make so much if they're in certain industries, right? They don't have to do a 9 to 5. Anyway, moving right along. So we see that for Married at First Sight, they are going through all of the couples. You can see I'm trying to go to my notes. I'm long stroking to try to find my notes. Sorry, guys. So Elijah Wan and Katina. This man is alarming. He continues to decrease in likability for me, right? He and Katina are at the grocery store and they're shopping. And he's criticizing what she buys and what she brings home, and that the food she eats are so different from what he eats. Oh my God. So it's the cleaning, it's the cooking, it's the preparing for friends to come over, it's the everything. I don't think he is going to ever be satisfied. What do you think? So he tells her that he has to go shopping with her because he doesn't know her shopping abilities, and that he doesn't want her to come home with a bunch of stuff that he doesn't like. So I said that already. And you notice there's a major glaring moment when they show the confessional of Elijah Wan and Katina. And he's talking about this and that and this and that, and she has this blank stare. I mean, it looks like she cannot wait until decision day. Man, it's like she has no excitement for the marriage. And you don't even see her personality when he's around. I mentioned this earlier. You see it like on the boat. When they were on the boat, she was talking to her friends, chewing out Lindsay. You saw her personality. But for him, for some reason, she's figured out that being silent is the way to manage the marriage. But who wants to live like that, where you can't be yourself? The one thing about Lindsay, you got to give it to her, she's being herself. So for Katina, I'm very worried that she is not being herself in this marriage, and that he is too controlling. So moving right along, we see Jasmina and Michael. Michael is starting to show some personality. That means to me he's more invested, and this is them meeting with Pastor Cal and the other experts. So Pastor Cal was happy to hear from Michael that he had good news, that they were starting to get along. They actually like to be around each other. And Michael said he would be more willing to share his history, his childhood, trauma, because the likability between the two of them has gone up. Jasmina, on the flip side, she says finally that she believes there is some effort from Michael, but she does need him to share more of what makes him who he is today, which is all of the loss he's had in his life. So I think then they get together and they talk about what each shared with the experts, and they both agree that they're willing to keep trying, that they are willing to go to the next level, which is affection, touching, so they can build some sort of emotional connection. And we will see if that happens. But I do like the fact that they are finally relaxed. They're not analyzing everything. And Michael is showing a little bit of personality. He looks like he's finally enjoying the process. So I think when they get together with the experts. Mark and Lindsay were really the ones that had the breakthrough. Well, let me not say that. That's not true. Lindsay talks to Dr. Pepper, and Dr. Pepper told her to, instead of constantly grilling Mark, to ask him questions and allow him to respond, and to always lead it so he feels like he's not being attacked. On the flip side, Pastor Cal had a dynamic moment with Mark when he asked Mark, when him and Lindsay argue, what does it remind you of? Does it remind you of when your mom and dad argued? And you can see for Mark, that is something he had not even admitted to himself. But Pastor Cal continued to drill down, and he says, do you feel like your father? Or are you afraid to be your father? Or do you feel like your father when you guys have these moments? And Mark cried, because clearly, whenever he's engaging with Lindsay, if you'll remember the last episode, Lindsay reached out to talk to him when she was going on and on and on and on, and he pulled back, which said what? I don't like you. So for his interaction with Pastor Cal this time, it was a huge moment. It really, you can tell that Mark really realized where the barriers were coming from with relaxing with Lindsay and not taking everything she says to heart, and just understanding that's her personality and she doesn't mean any harm. In fact, Pastor Cal said that Lindsay wants to support him, wants to be there for him, is genuine in her care and concern for Mark. And Lindsay is not his mother. Okay, so here, remember when I said I think Lindsay is good for Mark? She's going to pull him out of his shell, because right now he's just existing. He's not living. He's not embracing life. He's not doing the big things. He's not even trying the different foods. But Lindsay brings all of that to him. Sure, she's rough around the edges, and there are a lot of things that would make anybody not want to deal with her. But for Mark's personality, if they stay together 3 years, he'll be better off. 3 years, he'll be his full self. I think he has, and as Pastor Cal has said, the burden of his parents with him every day. Because he talked about in his interview with Pastor Cal that his mom did everything for him. But he also watched his mom go into a depression. But she did everything for him. So he wants to be there for her, but he also remembers those arguments with his dad. So that was a lot to unpack. And you can tell when you see Mark interact that he's carrying a load that he has not released. So in that regard, it's good. And Dr. Pepper, on the flip side, tried to do that with Lindsay. But I think it's going to take a couple of more times for Lindsay to get it, to be quiet, to process, and to support Mark the way that he needs. So I think it's going to take a couple of more times for Lindsay to get it, because when they had another scene where all of the couples together, and I don't think I remember this, where all of the couples were together and the experts were watching them behind the scenes and then coming out to kind of give them all feedback and to watch to see how they're interacting. And maybe they have had that segment before in other seasons, but I don't remember it. So in that episode where they were all out playing volleyball, and of course Elijah Wan was continuing to evaluate and teach Katina and demonstrate that she's not good enough, even in volleyball, and he needs to make sure she gets better. The ego is huge. The control is huge in terms of Elijah Wan and Katina. He won't just let her be and enjoy. So clearly she's suppressing her feelings and her emotions. All of the other couples played, but constantly you see Elijah Wan showing her how to hit the ball, how to position her hands. It really is overkill once again. So anyway, they all sit down and start to chat, and Elijah Wan talks about how Dr. Pepper really didn't give him any solid advice. And Dr. Pepper is so negative because she's bringing up the past, and when she comes to him, she should bring positive comments and energy. And actually, there was no value of him meeting with Dr. Pepper. So in that regard, I do believe he needed a Pastor Cal check. He needed a man to check him, because I don't know what his true respect level is for women in general. I'm just going to be honest, because he comes off as condescending and demeaning to women. And you can see it with Katina. So, and with the Dr. Pepper exchange, the way he spoke to her, reacted to her, tried to minimize her comments to him, showed me that he really didn't value her input. So then Dr. Pepper and Pastor Kyle continued to share with the couples. Lindsay and Mark were having an exchange before they came to join the couples. And Dr. Pepper said Mark was not showing up for Lindsay. And Pastor Kyle agreed. So Lindsay was talking, and he was pulling back. They said he should have leaned in to show her, yes, I'm here for you, I support you, keep talking, right, which you're making some valid points. But he pulled back. So when they joined the couples, they kind of shared with Mark, just touch her on the leg, or just talk to her, or lean in and let her know that you're there as her husband, as she kind of shares with the group. So when she's out, kind of let her know that you're there and you're invested. That was some good advice. I didn't think they would offer that kind of advice. I thought they were going to say, Lindsay, you need to dial it back. You haven't listened to what Dr. Pepper has told you. Take it easy, allow him to share. But that was the opposite of what they said. They said that Mark needed to step up and support her when she's talking, as long as it's not harmful and in public with other people, to show people that the marriage is united. So that was interesting. And then they talked a little bit to Jasmine and Michael and how they need to work on building an emotional connection. And how about this? Even when they were joining all the couples, Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper didn't even counsel Noi and Steve together. See, everybody feels the same way. Their portion of the show is boring. It's the same issue. And unless he shows her bank statements and investments and stocks and whatever he sold his apps or his whatever for, it's going to be the same conversation. So I think they're over it. I know I'm over it. Move right along. So it looks like the next episode is going to be even more interesting. I hope Lindsay didn't jump out the car and end up in the hospital. But editing, the tricks of editing can have us on the edge of our seats and that not really be the case, right? So they're trying to get us to come to the boardroom early and get ready for the next episode. So they're teasing it with all this drama that's still going on. We will have to see. At least we're saying it's getting better, right? It is getting better. We do need more of the experts. I think why the show was so good was because the experts were there. And not only were they were there more than once. But I think the mixed match was Dr. Pepper counseling Ego Man, Elijah Wan, rather than Pastor Cal counseling Ego Man, Elijah Wan. Because he has a major ego, and only a man is he going to listen to, unfortunately. And to see Katina's face, there's no joy, there's no smile, there's no excitement. There's like, oh, I love this man, he's a great guy. It looks to me that he's draining. You never see it. Now, if you ever watch the after show, she looks like a totally different person. She looks lively, energetic, she's smiling. But man, maybe she's coming from work when they film. I hope so. But when I see her face, I'm like, wow. Wowza, wow. That is not a good sign. Don't you agree? So it looks like it's going to get even more interesting in the next episode. So I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you for coming to the boardroom, board members. I am the chatty chairwoman. Bye-bye. Oh, stop, pause, come back. Don't forget, hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification button. And I thank you for stopping by. Bye-bye.